Hello and welcome to day 3 of CAV-CON. Oh my gosh. I'm excited. I'm so excited by this weekend. The Badger news, we got all those upcoming models. I got to see an awesome game between Hugh and Todd here yesterday, and still stuff to be done today. But you guys, what's going on? What's on your brain?
Oh, Badger.
Badger.
Yes, I've been thinking about how to paint the Badger, how I want to do it. Stencils, lots of stencils.
Starport diorama.
Yeah,
Starport
dioramas.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There's so much potential with that thing. I mean, fueling situations. John's going to crash one to make a piece of terrain. It's just, oh my.
I tell you, I have a ton of the sea trains. Train Kickstarter. I want to paint a lot right now.
Okay.
I mean, and for me, is making a diorama of the Badger something I can set up, put somewhere at a table that people can see it when I'm doing my demos. Next thing you know, I'm going to be having to stop the demo to go, explain what is this and how they can get it.
I mean, to me, it's amazing, right? We're getting ready to have models in hand, the Kodiak and the Mamba, and they are not the lead story, right? I mean, how excited would you be if John said, "Hey, I'm releasing the Kodiak this week. You guys can order it right away," and you're like, "Okay, I'll throw that on top, like as a secondary thought into my shopping cart." What kind? This is like the best weekend ever for CAV.
Oh yeah, it is. It very much so.
I really want to paint them.
All right,
That's
here
exciting.
I come.
Here comes the big man.
Crash and burn.
Tonka trucks and hobby habits.
bright
He's
red
all
with
his
a
toys.
white racing stripe. That's very, very rock. I like that.
Absolutely. Oh, John, what about you?
I'm going to Bahamas
You're going to
for like a week.
Yeah.
I need to decompress.
It's been busy.
It's been a great weekend. I've been very, very happy with everything turned out. Lots of support, lots of it was so nice to have other people in doing things with Party Bear and Chris and James Wapple and everybody, and got Well Forge coming in today, and Party Bear is going to be here again. So that part was really, really cool. That part, I think we've all had a good time. So
after watching James paint with oils last night, yeah, that's on my to-do list now.
Yes.
I'm giving that a shot as soon as I get home.
Absolutely. Do yourself a favor. Go to your local hobby store. Spend 10 or 12 bucks. Pick up a couple of tubes of paints and just give it a shot. And watch Mr. Wapple's video a couple of times to get a feel for what he does and how he preps them. And I'm telling you, it's like any painting, right? It's not magic. You're not going to be perfect the first time out, but you're going to see some things amazing.
It mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing.
I mean, and from my perspective, I've got two great painters over here next to me. Can't forget about John.
Don't add me in that.
And, my level's not up to par with theirs. And to see them, especially Todd here, going just googly eye over James Wapple, and all of us we're like, in the space of a few hours, he's already painted 5 or 6.
Completely finished.
Total finished, and they were gorgeous.
And we're like, wait a minute, we'd still be on Model 2.
So my Model 1, dude. My first reaction was, well, okay, I just want to throw my paintbrushes in the trash at this point. First started paying attention to actually what he was doing. Heck, I can do that. Not outside the possibility. Yeah, giving it a shot.
To me, watching it, the biggest thing I drew out of it was how the shading.
Yes.
The putting it all on and then wiping it back off.
Yeah.
I mean, it made washing
look arcane.
Yes, on how to do that. And I thought that. But my main thing is I don't want to paint in oils overall, so I don't know how it'll be interesting.
So one of his techniques is what John was describing. He does this, calls it a pre-glaze, right? He just coats the model in just a collection of
Just
ugly looking
slops it
brown,
on.
black stuff. Lets it sink in for I don't know, a few minutes while he's working on another model, and then he wipes it off. At the point he wipes it off, I'm ready to edge highlight, do the treads, done.
Call it
put
done.
on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
It looks
Done.
fantastic at that point. So I'm excited to.
I mean, if anything, I'm going to try that and be like, hey, I'm done.
Done. Literally.
I can paint.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's just, I think it's an extension of use inks. I think it's basically kind of the same thing. If
Just about the staining
a good
aspect.
ink, with a good ink, bad inks, good inks, you kind of the same. Yeah. I know he's probably still in bed. Or
Yeah,
I would
we're still
beg him to-
painting.
Probably still painting. Yeah.
Yeah, or
He's still
or
painting.
he's still painting. Yeah.
His channel's still going.
Yeah.
And there's probably about 20 viewers still. They've got toothpicks in their eyes trying to watch everything he's doing.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's the fact that it's such a different technique that catches my eye. I mean, I really enjoyed watching Thunderhead and Party Bear and everybody like that paint with the acrylics. Honestly, Party Bear, that Taseki that he did them in colors I would be afraid to try.
Right.
I mean, just the subtlety of them was incredible. When he started out, I was like, oh, I'm terrified. If that were my model, I'd probably strip it and start over. But he pulled it out. I was really happy with the way that Taseki.
And because I did miss it, I forgot about Chris on Friday night, Thunderhead. So I think I said Chris, but I want to say what he did Friday night, awesome. Great painted stuff. So like I said, very colorful character and got a little interesting type of show, but had some cool things.
So I see Party Bears in the chat right now. You want to respond to this? Were you going for a cell shaded type effect with the heavy black lining on that Suseki?
It may take me a minute. He may have wandered away from the chat.
And to answer
It
Hobby
looked
Habit,
amazing though.
Hobby Habit asked me, aren't I going to customize my Badger by putting a Tonka truck into it? Possibilities.
Hey, I think that a yellow black on a Badger would be cool as hell.
Oh yeah, especially with the Killer Bees Merc unit, giant logo on the side. That'd be great.
Just so many things you can do with that model. I'm getting more than.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna stencil the hell.
Here's Party.
But so anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. This is our last day, which is good and bad, but we'll deal with it. After we're done here with the show this morning, we'll have a little pause and we'll get Party Bear online and we'll kick things off with him. So he'll go for 2 hours. Then Well Forged Minis is going to be coming on for an hour, and we will just transition into those. We'll host their channels. I want to remind everybody though that if you're not actually in their channel, he cannot see your chat. So if you stay in ours, which is fine, we had a lot of people stay in ours last night during the same show. So if you want to stay in ours and keep chatting, that's fine. If you want him to see something or you have a particular question for them, you do need to put that in their chat. You can actually have two windows. If you're on your computer, you can actually have two. So that's possible too. So then at 2 o'clock, after Well Forge is done, we will be previewing and introducing CAV Ball. So we have our CAV Ball all set up, ready to go. I'm looking forward to that. Guys are going to be, it's like I said, it's kind of a beta. So they're still adjusting things a little bit, but I think it'll still be a lot of fun. I certainly had a great time putting the board together. And so I look forward to seeing how that turns out. They will go probably somewhere till about 5 o'clock. We've got about 3 hours scheduled for that. After that, I intend to take about an hour and do a learn to play session so that we've got that on there and recorded. We do still want to spend about an hour talking about RPG ideas. So we'll do that probably around 7 o'clock. And then, about 6 o'clock. And then the last 7 to 8 is kind of we'll just kind of have our closing remarks and shut everything down and wish everybody a safe trip. Travels. That's what we've got going on today.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that, make sure everybody understands. CAV ball is just a thing I thought up in my head that I thought would be fun to do during CAV-CON. It's not a product that John's making. It's just, I said, hey, you know, I could paint some models up and we could play like very destructive soccer to fill some time. My wife and I have been play testing it for the last couple of months. We like it. She's going to be in chat later because I think every game we've ever played, supposed to see if I can actually win one. But yeah, this is just something fun. You can do this on your own. You can play this without hexes. If you decide you like it, I'll be happy to share what little bit of rules it actually has, and you guys can try it out on your own. But John absolutely killed it when he decided to make this hex board.
Yes.
This is incredible. Makes me want to buy a laser cut.
Yeah, this was all created in the last couple of days.
Yeah, none of this existed before, what was it, Friday?
Yeah, and it turned out amazing.
Dave, when are they going to be available in the store?
We had that discussion last night too.
Well, that's up to John.
Yeah. I don't know about that, Dave. We'll see. We'll see how everybody thinks of CAV ball first before we go any further with that.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
And just finishing up with the Badger, the response has been great. I've lost count of how many have been ordered. So stay tuned. Next week's, like I said, going to be a busy week. But we'll get everybody taken care of.
I want to remind you all right, this is again just a personal challenge from me. First person, time-wise, that posts, and you don't count, John, posts a finished Badger, I'm going to buy you a t-shirt or something.
Finished as in constructed
Assembled,
or painted?
right. And I'm going to give another one away for the painted one. Okay. And if they're both together, I'll do something even better. So you guys, you know, whoever gets the first kit gets a head start. You might want to sweet talk John.
Actually, the post office is probably who you're going to want to talk about. So apparently, it'll turn off in just a second. Apparently, the air compressor is still on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you hear some noise in the back. Sorry, the air compressor in the shop turned on. It'll come out and go off here in a minute. And then Hugh, you're leaving today.
Yes.
So Hugh will only be here about half the day with us. So we wish him a safe trip back to Tennessee. And everybody else is here till tomorrow in one form or another. So who knows what will happen tonight. Drive-through margaritas.
Absolutely. God bless it. Yes. We've got to go to that place.
Oh, that's a challenge. A lunch or dinner is at Spangles.
For me.
All right. What else? What else would you guys like to cover?
Tell us a little bit more about this new painter. I've never met Will. What's the name of the place again?
Well
It's
Forged.
Well Forged.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
I know. I mean, and if you go on Instagram or Facebook and search for Well Forged Studios, he's got a presence on there. You can see stuff that he's painted. Literally, I found him by accident. I was looking at some of the guests at ReaperCon, and something in his bio said that he was in Kansas. So in his email address there, so I emailed him, and come to find out he lives within 30 minutes of me. And so we kind of talked, and so he's going to come on and do an hour for us today. I think he's planning on kind of concentrating on how to do battle damage on figures.
Okay.
And then I believe that we are going to discuss a little bit more about us doing sponsorship of him channel and stuff. So we've got some stuff in the future.
So he's a regular Twitch streamer.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if he's Twitch or YouTube or
okay.
I mean, he's streaming and doing stuff somewhere. I know that I think it's on YouTube. This all just came about in the last 2 weeks, so I'm not trying to be sparse with knowledge on purpose. It's just yes.
So Gimli in the chat says he's shocked we haven't been to the drive-through. So let me tell you why. All right, John behind the scenes is a little bit of a taskmaster. we were painting on this board late last night, and it's just been a busy time. There's a lot of moving pieces to make this thing work, and so by the time we get out of here, it's probably a little too late for margarita as usual.
Or the perfect time.
See, they didn't realize that they were going to have to show up and work.
Yeah.
So they've been worked and they're cold. So between those two things,
I'm good today.
Sorry, old man syndrome.
When the overhead cam comes on, they'll see they can't see much of what's on the board right now, but when they get a view of all the little
mines. CAV-CON includes minefields.
Yes, minefields.
Minefields on here. They'll see why it took us so.
Gimli, no, you don't understand. I don't really drink very much, and so a margarita means I can't paint.
Gimli, once you see the size of these mines and how many there are, and that there are 2 different colors using to represent them, I think you'll change your mind.
Yeah.
Is it 2 or 3? Didn't you guys put white down and then silver on top of it? Or
no, it was just like a titanium white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I missed that part. But we did have a good dinner last night.
Yes.
Mrs. CAV boss treated us to barbecue last night.
Yes, so that was really good.
So the true CAV boss.
The true, the real CAV boss.
That's what I call her every time I meet her.
Yeah. So
there is a really that barbecue place. I really like that.
Hog Wild Barbecue. If you're ever in, I believe they're in the Wichita areas. If you're in the Wichita, El Dorado area, stop by at Hog Wild Barbecue. But as their tagline goes, don't be late. They close at 8.
Now, that shredded, was that brisket?
Like it was all good. I enjoyed it all. John does not. When John feeds you, he feeds you well. Sometimes he forgets to eat for like a week at a time.
like you can't tell that by looking at me. So
he has his own schedule.
I have a weird.
So for those of you that are on Discord, I created a Badger channel over in the Discord area. If you're not, you should really join us on Discord. Come over there. People are already talking about what they're going to do and what their plans are with the Badger. Come over and share your ideas. And of course, as you start to work on your project, post us pictures. Tease us. The first person to get one and post that's going to be exciting because that's when the clock really starts for the T-shirt contest. Whatever it is, I end up giving away. So yeah, join us over there.
Ooh, cat's out of the bag.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a T-shirt. I was thinking some kind of coconut donut themed T-shirt, but whatever makes you happy. Whoever wins this contest, I will get you something that makes you smile. I promise.
Yeah, it probably won't be this week, but next week or the week coming up, and the week after, should have a coconut T-shirt available up on our TeePublic page. So.
Be a lot of fun.
The board needs a drop ship parking area. Well, it does. It can be over here on the side over here. If it lands right in the middle of ground zero, we're going to have a lot of dead men.
Yes,
well, that's right. The point, though, isn't it?
I guess
that's the point of the game.
It's a combat landing.
I mean, honestly, in my mind, in the movie of CAV-Ball, right? The intros is the teams that are playing for the championship arrive. They all come in on their customized Badger dropships with music playing, and the doors open up, and their calves come out to their introductions and their own theme music. It's kind of WWE or F, whatever it is, wrestling, and they do their signature moves and come down. I'm sorry, that's just the way my brain works. All right, I live in a movie inside my head.
I did, and that was kind of in my idea when we were working on this last night. It kind of looks like a starport landing area.
It has that look about it, yeah.
A tarmac.
I mean, maybe there's a version of the game where replacements get hot dropped into the game. I don't know.
I got it. All right, right above the cockpit, a little mini diorama, double stack speakers, little figure grabbing a guitar with shiny and chrome painted across
I
the
like it.
side.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
when it lands, guy pops out and starts drifting.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would like to build little sponsorship boards in the corner.
Absolutely.
Looks in.
I mean, so my original plan, and I just ran out of time, was to have something like that in place of the towers, right?
Right.
Some sort of like holographic projected flag looking thing above it for Drake's beer and all that other kind of stuff. There's only so much time in my day. I painted 32 models for CAV-CON. That's enough.
Dave, we totally understand. You have no idea how many ball jokes have been said over the last 3 days.
Oh my God.
I was trying to finish something up last night. I looked James in the face as serious as I could be and told him to get his balls off my table.
Yeah. All right, you guys, whatever makes you smile, that's important. Whatever makes you smile.
We really can't do a close-up right this second, Dave. Hopefully you'll be around after the game starts at 2 o'clock, and I will make sure that they do. Hobby Abbott asks, the paint for the board, special speckle paint or just far spray skills? Both. Because of the boards being separate in the order that they were going in, I used the spray cans first to get them all painted and speckled and different shading and everything like that. But because I painted them separately, you kind of tell on those. So I used a speckle textured paint on the whole thing overall to tie it together. So I think it came together pretty good.
Yeah, John, tell him about your last minute audible to save us with circles and all that.
Well, we actually when this kind of came about and why I kind of had to wait, because I wasn't totally in on James' idea yet on what he needed. So as we were talking about this on Thursday and putting it all together and drawing it out, we put these circles on the board that needed to be on there for different zones and everything. And then after we painted it, we could see the circles, but you were never going to see them. So we got to thinking, oh, maybe we should have thought different on how we did those. So very quickly, I used the laser cutter to cut out some templates, and we spray painted all that on there, and voila, now you can see everything.
Yeah, and more than that, he made the little warning zone decorations, out on the periphery and the CAV ball logo. John is amazing. All right, John is a
Blush,
graphic, yeah,
blush.
Yeah, literally. John is a graphic artist by training and by practice. He has years of experiences, that sort of thing, and you could see it last night. The three of us were sitting around going, all right, well, I guess we could try and paint this thing. John was like, hold my beer. Except instead of the tragedy that normally happens after that, we got this board. So,
and John, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do all the designs for the shirts and everything, right? Like
Yes.
You've done all of those. So, I mean, yeah, there you go.
So if you love them, thank you. If you hate them, F you.
I'm looking forward to a coconut donut T-shirt.
Yes.
I have no idea what
That's going to
looks
be
like.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm excited to play. I'm excited to watch Party Bear paint. What else to do? What do we got?
I don't know. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit about the game yesterday. This is kind of a wrap-up show
There
for
you
the day
go.
before
Okay.
too. So kind of, we'll start with Todd. He can kind of tell what he was thinking and how it progressed in his in what he thought was going to happen, and then we'll switch over to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, for those of you guys that got to watch the game yesterday, it was my Malvernus versus Vietnamese. And my force was designed to be very quick, rapidly get across the board and close. Not going to lie, your fire sports section, especially with that Cyclops, had me a little worried, especially in the first round when you did, three damage tracks to my Reaver. But surprisingly enough, that Reaver actually ended up surviving to the end of the game, which is often the case. And it went really well. I think turning point was when my Razors finally got to fire sport, and well, once that was in, the foregone conclusion. But the game was a lot of fun. You had me sweating a couple times with those heavy rocket barrages. Yeah, it was a good time.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to get rid of that one man cav, or one unit squad, so that I didn't have 3 cards in the deck anymore. Then before I could really get him finished off, the razors in threat range of my fire support. That's when I was like, but I either finished him off quicker or focused more on trying to eliminate a couple of the razors out of that squad so that it wouldn't be so much of a threat, and Royal Chieftains could do their job. But what surprised me is the Royal Chieftains, it seems only one of the 3 knew how to aim and target at all. It's like I would roll 3 of them. Okay, come on, guys, you all got the same thing to hit, and 2 of them would miss, and 1 would go.
As it's said over and over, the dice gods giveth and taketh away.
And you know what? Those Royal Chieftains, I got a single one of them.
No, you didn't.
And what really surprised me, okay, so for anybody out there wanting to try wyverns out, they're surprisingly hard to kill. I'm not sure why it took so long to kill the 2 that I actually did. Even for armor 6, they just would not go down.
I mean, that I took them for the most part. I wanted a semi-mobile force to kind of keep harassing anybody's other quick units to keep them off of my fire support.
Yeah,
and that's why.
force. Yeah.
And that's why I took the wyverns. Is I've got an attack cav with 2.
Light max.
Is it light max?
Light max.
I got 2 light max that if I needed to salvo to really punch through something to help pepper it up for the Chancellor to then just wail on it, that's what the plan was.
And plus they have 2 medium guided missiles?
No, one medium and then 1 light rocket.
Okay. So I mean for what they are, they actually can throw for the point value a decent amount of firepower out there. So pretty good mobile snipers. Yeah, my opinion of them has changed.
So one thing that I noticed, I'm curious to see what you 2 think about how much of a factor it played in the game, was COD basically dominated the warfare almost the entire game. Now it's not that you didn't have a countermeasure, and your ECM guys were ECM too, right? As I recall, just as good as Todd. Just, man, the dice were like, no Hugh, no Hugh, no Hugh.
And oftentimes it was a 1.
Yeah, you beat him by
margin.
1.
That was it. Yeah.
Well, look at the one time I went to go after him.
Yeah.
You know, Cab Boss has already said, all right, whatever you do, don't tie. What do? We tie.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that was funny. When Cab Boss had to step out of the room, they tied in a roll, then they rolled off for that roll, they tied. They rolled off for that roll, they tied.
3 times.
Three
times. And then I only won by 1.
Right. And so I'm curious to hear what you 2, how big a factor was that Todd's domination in the ECM part of the battle? How did that play into what happened?
Well, Ross taught me a long time ago. One of the first games him and I played together. ECM is a huge factor. If you're restricting your opponent's ability to target lock, that's potentially, if you have a targeting computer 2, that's 2. That's a huge advantage, and especially if you're stacking that on A, then you can very, very easily swing the just the numerical favor game to yourself by properly.
And I've always seen that in a lot of games is a lot of people discount the models with ECM because they're always looking more offensively. They're like, you're not helping my role. So they try to be more APA. You don't realize that if you have the ability to take away targeting locks, EST, chain fire, FCS, you have. Yes, are you getting any pluses to your rolls for that? No, but you're taking a crap load away from him, or possibly can be.
Yeah,
it works out really good. So it's something definitely to keep track. The main thing I noticed about the game is I knew what you were going to do as soon as you guys deployed, and if I had been you, I would have set a trap.
Oh, how so?
Just find me a spot that I know that I can funnel you and be ready with everything.
Well, there was 2 kill zones
Right.
on both sides. I had thought about that. Luckily, majority of my force was mobile enough to where they could swap flank if need be. What Hugh did was he set up his fire support after I set up exact opposite corners, which I fully expected to do. I don't think he realized my attack section was as mobile as it was, the rush forward assault. So he did it. He saw the 2 kill zones and attempted to plug both holes. I just think, the dice rolls, big thing to do with it.
I would probably have kept my fire support moving along the back edge and kept my guns closer to me, and try to use fire support to funnel you one way. And once got you, just gun the living car out of you coming through there.
That probably would have went better for him. But then again, say the dice take
the dice gods giveth and taketh away. Many times.
I want to highlight the Razor, Alvernus Razor. If you guys have ever seen the model and looked at its stats, okay, 4 light OBG, grab 3, not terribly threatening, but its real strength comes from double time ability, because it's already got armor 5, essentially a 7, combined with its ECM 2. So if you have a pack of razors, call mine 5 because there's 5 of them. You got a pack of razors. If one gets taken out, any one of the other 4 can fill that vacant position. So it's not like a normal attack squad where you got one. Sometimes playing Templar, you might have that guy that can. But if I wasn't worried about 1 or 2 razors dying because of the effect what they were on to provide the recon ability of flipping a card and provide ECM. You could have killed all but one of them. The section would have been effective without them all being.
Your ECM, my FCS and stuff didn't really come into play because when I made my strike point rolls, I kept rolling 10 or higher.
Your strike point rolls were on point.
So your ECM, what it would block for me is the chain fire pods for sharing that. And probably what I should have done, taking out your Revenant a little bit faster, probably put more guys to where they could have salvoed and shot him and got him out and maybe turn in half. And then concentrated on your 2 shadows to get rid of your APA, because APA helped you out quite a bit.
Yes.
EST off of them as well. Just me, this was the first time I've used, because Ritter doesn't have a whole lot of electronic warfare. So,
no.
Ritter's what I usually play.
Ritter.
You normally play.
I
missed the line there. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean they have the Cougar and the Catamount. Well, they had the Catamount for a while, but I think
they're more APA. They're not really ECM, and they're EST.
I think they have like the Rudger now as their little vehicle, which is cheap and effective.
But a couple of comments there that kind of lead into this. Models in CAV are much more dependent on one another than other mech.
Yeah.
A lot of times you build a Lance or whatever, the particular game you're playing, and they pick the 4 that they like. They look cute, they look cool, or they've got a tonnage that they're trying to fit in. So, hey, I got an extra 30 tons. What 30-ton guy can I throw in? You really, when you put these squads together, need to put them together so that they help each other. And a lot of the models, like the Razor, work very well together. So as opposed to, Mount Vernon's normally run in 5s. So, rather than when you're trying to build a recon squad or something, take one of these guys, one of these guys, one of these guys, taking 4 or 5 Razors together is a very, very, they're all working together. They're all same range. They're all same speed. And it's something to really take into account in that. And now there is an attack version and a recon version. You can build an attack squad with 4 attacks and put 1 recon in there and get that benefit. Or if you need a recon one, and put 4 recon ones in there, and then put an attack one in there to give it a little more punch.
And they're the exact same points value, so
Yeah.
it's totally interchangeable at any point.
Yeah, that's that's the big thing with CAV is when you're putting your units together, you're not putting in a bunch of solo specialists that might work together. You've got to look at the overall force composition. What do I need in this squad? And then you pick 4 or 5 or 6 if you hire it, units that work well together to help complement each other so they can accomplish the task that you're setting them. Pick a bunch of, okay, I'm going to take 4 Ogre 2s and do everything. Okay, you've got 4 Ogre 2s, the other guy has got 12. Think of the,
It's just you have a big solid punch, if you go something big like that. So it's important to, if you got those guys in there, you don't want to have a whole squad full of short range guys, because they're just going to sit back and pound you to death. Yes, if you can make it across the field, you're going to really punch them, but
you got to get across first.
You want a couple of guys in there with long range to help you out, whether it's fire support with rockets or or somebody with 3 max or something like that. So
like
and
Kodiak.
Of course, yeah, and of course you want that guy in there because you have no idea how big EST is. If you haven't played a whole lot, you really need to have 3 actions. And you only have 2. And by that EST recon guy being to give you, he's basically giving your entire squad a free action, target lock, and it's a big deal.
The other thing, had my thought and now it's gone, but
You jump in here. Then.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the other big difference that I noticed in the game was that Todd had a recon. Several times during the game, Todd used the recon squad's ability to take the just revealed initiative card and send it to the bottom of the deck. They get that once per turn, right? And so you did that on a couple of different. Sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't. Yeah. Talk about how big an impact you think that had on the game.
A huge impact, actually.
Well, I think it saved the CAV in one response because his card was up that he had already just the previous
saved my
activation,
Reaver. Yeah.
Yes, had pounded it, and if he had been able to go again, that guy was gone.
Yeah. The recon ability is, and that was one of the reasons that I went with the pack of razors. Multifaceted section. You get so much out of it for back section. But yeah, there was one instance where I think my Reaver was on its 6th damage track, almost dead. Just pummeled it with Javelineer.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe it was the
the Javelineer.
Was it? And yeah, his card came up, and I thought, crap, that thing's gone. And I was just trying to get it back there to deal with those tanks really well against units that are close together, which is because they're. But yeah, and then his card came up. I used ability.
Got the Javelineer.
Shook out the Javelineer. So yeah, it saved my CAV from dying and let me take. Yeah, that was it was.
Yeah, the Ritterlich have a special essay that take a full Ritterlich force. You get that ability for free. So
it was like a doctrine.
Yeah, one of the
doctrines. They get to flip a card once per.
So if you're playing with doctrines and you have a recon squad that's Ritter, you get that twice a turn. I've done that and it has infuriated people.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
They're like the situation where you did it to me and my card came back up yet again. You know that point where I'm using it, their card came up. Nope. Their card came up again. Nope. I'm still going and mine's up. It has saved my hide a few times.
If Ross watches this later, I know he's going to be giggling the whole time. That's what he was doing to me at Nope, yeah, bottom of the deck. I didn't think to bring a recon. I was focusing on.
So the game turned out. Who was the victor? Because we did that off screen, right?
Yeah.
Did it end up?
We didn't finish it.
Just kind of narrate the end of that for the people.
We went another 2 turns,
something like that,
I think. And like I said, I ended up taking the win. But it was the point at which my razors got back to his fire support. That's when it changed. Because the same turn that happened, my attack section was along the left hand back here, and took
my
out
poor
his,
chancellor. He had 2.
He was fresh at the beginning.
Yeah,
of that
he
turn.
was.
Yeah,
he
I
was.
think I did 8 damage tracks to him in one turn.
You did. It was brutal. From three calves too.
Yeah, all with
concentrated firepower on.
Yeah, and that's for anyone who's watching this hasn't had a like John's often said, this isn't warrior knights marching forward in suit, very much squad tactics. You have a chance to concentrate fire from section on calves. Do it because they're going to erase. They're going to go away. Melt. Yeah, hot knife through butt.
Yeah, and you had a couple of because the Macs have blasters. You had a couple of floating dice in on that as well. So that didn't.
Yes. Oh God, Blaster is so mean, especially Blaster 2.
So when you're doing a list design, personally, I feel like take not have to be at somebody. What about? I mean, is it possible to build a list about recon?
It's possible.
Yeah, I think it is. You can. My 2009 list didn't have a recon. But yeah, it didn't have a recon section, and I won that year. But that was because in a lot of ways, and John, correct me if I'm wrong. If you have your secondary squad is almost more important than primary training force. But if you really have a good dialogue, fire support.
Well, your secondary squads are your specialist squads. Yeah. And those are the ones that need to complement what you're trying to. Yeah. Right. So if you're trying to be a heavy pounder, you want a fire support. You want to be, especially if you've got a lot, if your attack guys are real short range, you want something with a lot of rockets to be and fire down basically in front of you. You want that rolling wall for you to come behind, and you're still going to take some damage coming in, but you're hoping that they're softening them up, and by the time you get them in under your good stuff, just finish them off. So
people in the chat are saying the sound.
It's probably because we started talking quieter. Is that a little better?
Testing. Bueller.
Bring it down.
Bring it down a little bit. Might help too. There we go.
I know one thing that would have helped me a lot is if the Highlander, it had ECM2, which is part of the reason why I took it with that force. If it had EST in there, it would have really helped that squad out.
Yeah.
Being able to share the target lock, because I think the Royal Chieftains have ATC1, so that would have helped a lot with the rolls, not whiffing. And if anything, what I probably could have done is temporarily used a command point to temporarily attach like the Javelineer or the Phylum to that squad so that it could share its EST with the vehicles to really remove something.
That's a good point, yeah.
We don't really have to shout, Mayor. Just have to talk louder. It's just after you sit here and you get a little comfortable, you kind of forget we're talking to other people, that we're talking to each other, and we tone down a little. We will try to do better. I'm sorry.
We're just trying to save each other's ears since we're having a yell and a...
We're all right next to each other, yeah.
Just so you can hear us.
So that's another thing that I find in my games we don't use a lot are those command points. I have used them when we go to the tournaments. It's not something I'm super familiar with. Give me some thoughts about how you use them and what your strategies are for deploying command.
So it's based on the number of squads you take. So especially in a CAV-CON tournament, at most you're ever going to get is 3. If you only take 2 squads, you're only going to get 2. So the command points can be used for a couple of different things. One that everybody thinks about is being able to re-roll. But as John pointed out to us yesterday, you have to, before you roll, hey, I'm going to use a command point. If I whiff this, I'm going to re-roll it.
Wait, is it
no,
re-roll or
it's,
is it
it's,
add one?
it's add to the roll.
Yeah.
You're going to add to the
You
roll.
add to the roll.
Okay,
right.
so it's just 1.
Yeah.
So if you think you're going to roll, you need a 7, you're going to roll a 6, you add that 1 and got your roll.
Let me ask a clarification question. So I have a critical shot coming in, something I know I really need to land hard. I can say before I ever roll my attack dice, okay, I'm going to spend command point. I'm going to add a dice to this roll. So I'm starting out with a 3d6 roll right off the bat.
No.
You add a +1 to the
plus
deal.
1 to
It's
whatever.
a +1.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the reason why that kind of comes up is because we've talked about, originally when in the original version that when we first put the thing together, we had a little different way for you to get command points. Okay, so and also if you're playing with officers, they add points to it. So we had bigger pools command points. Okay, so if you wanted to add a +1 or you could actually in the original one you could spend 2 command points and get a +2. Okay, but as the game progressed, that pool got smaller, and so that ability is not strong as it is. So it has been something that I have looked at to address down the road, as opposed to being just a +1 or whatever to the roll, is to be either to add a die instead of that or a reroll, which you at that point player after you. I think that's probably something that we'll look at doing. Just because, like I said, when we started out, the command pool was bigger, and now
it's shrunk down.
It's not that big.
But the way it works currently, just to make sure that I understand in my head, is before I make a critical roll, like some important shot in the middle of the game, say out loud to my opponent, hey, I'm going to spend a command point to give myself a +1.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the dice, add the 1, and then trigger whatever may come from the.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and then one of the things I use another thing that you can do, and I used my command point for yesterday, is to remove any status tokens from a unit.
Yeah.
So I had a guy that was suppressed, meaning I could not move any closer to any enemy units. So I was going to move my guy kind of diagonally, but as you pointed out yesterday, the direction I was going to go, unless I almost went reverse, I was still going to move closer to the enemy on the other side. So I used the command point to remove the status tokens. Now, thing you have to remember is if I do that, if you do that, as soon as you get a status token, somebody else in the same activation hits you, a different unit, and they add another suppressed on you, you either have to spend yet another command point to remove that. So it's best to wait until the enemy activation is over.
Well, not necessarily that. It's when you actually have to use it. Okay, if your activation is the next one after the enemy, and you've got to have that guy go now, all right, that's when you go ahead and use it. All right, but especially if you've got guys that's already gone and whatnot, or you don't, or it's not as important for him to be able to do that, or you're going to move him anyway or whatever. You want to hold that to the very last moment, because since it clears all suppression and stun, it's not, you don't have to pick one or the other. It clears all that effect off of everybody in your force group that has it. So, if sometimes you're better off to wait till the very end of the turn to use it, because at that point, if you ended up having 3 or 4 guys that you need to clear all at one time, they're done. You're good. Whereas if you just done it on the very first guy, I need to clear that off because I've got that point. I don't see that way. Those other 3 guys are going to be suppressed or stunned. Turn.
Okay, so let me again just clarify this in my head to make sure I understand what you just. First of all, I have a question about the timing of spending command. Have to be my turns. Have to be my activation. Spend it at any moment in time during the game. So, right before Hugh rolls his dice to shoot me, if I had a reason to, I want to. Let's back up one more question. Knockdown?
No.
Knockdown
it's
is
stunned and suppression.
Stunned and suppressed. Okay. So I could spend command points anytime I want. Explain in a little more detail who that command point affects. If I'm clear the status of who does it specifically hit?
Everybody.
Everybody in your
entire force group.
So I've got 12 models spread from heck to back, and they're all suppressed for some crazy reason. One command point, and they're all not suppressed.
It's all cleared.
Yeah, it's huge.
I didn't realize it affected the whole force.
Yeah.
I need to read the rules.
Yeah, you do.
Right, well, and it does. But like I said, it affects it immediately. So again, you spent that point, get that guy unsuppressed, and then you end up having 3 other guys. Then they're going to be suppressed unless you spend another point to clear.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to the volume or can I just spend all 3 command points like right in a row if I have some reason to do so?
I thought you could only do 1 a turn.
Yeah.
No. It is in the rule book.
Yeah.
One per turn.
Okay.
My personal favorite command point to use, though, is being able to add an additional action.
Yes.
I used that yesterday on you. Moving forward, activating ECM with one of the razors.
Yeah, we both use that.
Yeah,
ability.
shooting one of your guys in the back, I think.
Yeah. Another ability is temporarily adding a unit into another squad.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not used as much, but it is.
It can be very effective, though. Like you were saying, if your ECM guy or your EST guy in a fire sports taken out, in the command point and have one of the other recon guys
attach a recon guy to that squad for that particular turn, and voila, you get the benefits of EST.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask.
I don't think it's the
turn.
Whole
It's one per activation.
Per activation, that's better. Yeah, so you can spend multiples in a turn, but only one at any given.
So, if you wanted to, when you've got a squad and you would really like to give that whole squad. Say you've got 3 in that squad, and you want to give them all 3 an extra turn. You can't. You can only give one of them an extra AP.
So it's basically 1 per squad per turn, essentially.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. I like dreaming up weird scenarios.
Right.
I've got a model with
Chandler,
EST.
yes.
So I've got a model with EST that's attached to Squad A. It target locks some enemy model, shares that target lock, do their thing. Squad A is activated. My card comes up, I activate Squad B. Attach that EST model to and pick target lock.
As long as he still has it activated.
But if he's activated,
but no, I mean if he's already activated and has that, because it goes from activation to activation.
Right,
so if you were to,
I'm trying to clarify. Squad A owns this.
He's given
model.
us some insight here.
Yeah,
so Squad
that's a good idea.
If that model has already been activated and in that turn, then he would not be. You could not attach him because I believe it says it has to be a non-activated.
Okay.
Unactivated.
Never mind.
I believe so. It took me a second to see where you were going.
I knew where you were going.
If he's
with
already
it,
done his stuff, he's already.
Well, it's like my Javelineer yesterday. I target locked the Revenant.
Reaver, yeah.
Well, not really. I didn't really target lock him. I target locked the ground for the
for the strike point.
Yeah. So it wouldn't have really worked. Then I reattach him to the Royal Chieftain so that they could EST.
Well, where the activation works out good too is let's say you actually got somebody's back and you just did a lot of damage, or you're up in his front and you got all that deals, and your card comes up, but you really need to move this squad over here, okay? But you're afraid that if you go ahead with that squad, if you're not the next card for that guy, this guy's going to move and you're going to lose that cherry shot, okay?
Yeah.
That's a good time to do it, because if the guy hasn't gone yet, attach that guy to him so he gets that cherry shot before that guy has a chance to get away.
Yeah.
Chandler asked about the bubble. The bubble, it's based upon the area of effect from that particular model. So if you've got a model with ECM, all the enemy within that circle is affected, right? If you are running APA, all the enemy models inside that bubble, then everybody on your force group gets that plus, okay? It's based on the enemy being in the bubble. It used to be in the original game, you had to be in the bubble of the guy to receive it, okay? But you don't. It's the bubble has to be the enemy.
Yep.
The only time that comes into effect is like EST. You have to be within 36 inches of somebody with EST to get that, take an EST.
Yeah, and all that's incredibly important to remember too, considering the size of the boards that we put on. 30-inch bubble, I mean, that's 30-inch forward and back, so 60-inch might sound like a lot, but when you're on an 8 board, you almost got to be right up in the middle.
Well, it's designed so that you don't have a con sit back here in the corner the entire game. Right. Okay, he's got to move forward because he's got to either stay attached close enough so that the EST benefits his side, or be able to throw that bubble out to catch enemy. Because if they're all up here and you're back here, it's not going to do good because that other 30 inches is wasted.
Yeah, Chandler, yes. So yesterday he activated his ECM, but as long as my target lockers and EST and fire support and everything were outside of that bubble, we were able to still communicate to target lock inside.
Right.
Targets
you could have where it would come into effect is if your recon guy was outside the bubble, you did a target lock and you were transferring an EST to your guys in your squad, but everybody else is inside the bubble, they're not going to get the benefit of that because the EST has been blocked. Right. Even though he's still got his target lock out here and has that ability and he's outside the bubble, if the guys you're trying to give it to are inside the bubble, then it's wasted. Gromig brings up something too where the extra activation is really good. At the beginning, and when you're trying to get somebody down the board, especially aircraft that have a 20 or so, and you want to do that extra activation, 3 moves in a row, that's 5 feet of movement in one turn.
He did this to me. Yeah. We were playing at a CAV-CON, and this was before we realized that it wasn't for the entire squad that got the extra activation. He moved all of his Krakens onto my fire support and dropped his troopers into close combat with them.
That was you. I've heard this story.
I can't remember the number of times I have seen that be used to drop infantry in the middle of a fire support squad that has nobody to do it. It is absolutely hysterical to watch 100 points worth of infantry take out a 2,000 point squad. All you do is just sit back and cry because it's a done deal. So, all right, now, so we managed to kill another 30 minutes. Great.
Hey, awesome.
All right, so we are going to pause for a minute. Party Bear will start his stream, and then we will start hosting that and get that taken care of. So stay tuned. Don't run anywhere. We'll be back on here in just a couple of minutes. Party Bear, if you're on, start streaming, man. Here we come.
Yeah, you cheeky bastard.
Gromig, huh?
Yeah. He goes by